Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel here. I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm exactly going to call this video here, but I'm just going to give you just my feelings and takes on how the NHL has presented these games in hub cities based on a couple games that I watched and highlights here that this could be something we might have to get used to for the next while here, because we still don't know yet on when fans will be allowed to be back in the game for doing what they do here. However, I feel like that the NHL has definitely presented it well. And keep in mind, I'm still talking about this during the round robins and the playing series here, is that they still got plans to give even more, visual presentations as they get later in the playoffs here, is what they plan to do here. But early indications are, I think they've done as well as they can here. I mean, when he first heard of the concept of, oh, we're going to play in an empty arena here, I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you just take any arena that you visualize and it's empty, and just have players playing it and just hear, the hockey sounds, the checks, the players interacting, some colorful language, which that's why they put a 5-second delay in. But I mean, you kind of pick up on some of that, especially now with mics being more advanced. That I don't know why they had to announce that when they presented it here, but what I think they've done well is that how they blocked off the seats in the lower bowl. And keep in mind, with both of the games that they were playing, the Eastern Conference games in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, in Rogers Place in Edmonton there. I was thinking of the old arena here. I mean, you still get some of the nuances and all the unique features that each arena has, that you can still kind of see the scoreboard, the roof, and the banners that the respective teams have here. But you almost lose sight of the fact as you watch the game and the highlights here, other than making references on the ice where it makes reference to the building and the city here, because both arenas, they just have a generic Stanley Cup logo on the center ice there, which, I mean, it's kind of hosting the whole NHL, at least the East and West brackets here. But there's definitely a lot of little things that I've picked up, that I'm sure all you hockey fans picked up too, that it kind of almost feels like you're at home, besides just talking about, I mean, I find it's definitely neat that they have the goal horns of the respective teams in there, so every time that team scores, that they play that team's goal horn here, and then they play their associated goal song for that said team there, which I definitely find that neat here. And it's definitely different that you hear it for both sides, because I mean, under normal game here, you just hear the home team and the song there, and then you don't hear it for the road team here. And then the fact that there is still officially a designated home and away team, which I'm going to say doesn't seem to make that much of a difference under these circumstances on a neutral site here, where one team's designated home here. I mean, you don't have the fans here, and they do pump in some of the fan noise that they simulate for each game here, and then I think they plan on doing it more as we get later in the playoffs here. But behind the benches there, where you see the camera panning in and around as the play goes on, it's definitely neat how they put the two teams graphics that's showing up there for each side that's participating in a particular game here. And then, of course, I've also noticed that as if a certain player, made a big play, or was being spotlighted for a certain play, or, just a profile, that how they sync it up where that player, you see it on the background there and both screens there. And then I guess that's also neat how they put the fan interaction there. I guess each team had like videos or that they show fans, so that they can still show the teams that the fans are there. But now, speaking of there being no fans here, I think that gave the NHL an opportunity to put in some different camera angles that they wouldn't have to worry about being in somebody's way. I mean, I know that some games there, I find it's definitely neat how they show like an overhead view of the ice. And like, say for example, if you're watching a team on the power play and attacking in there, it's actually kind of neat that they see a camera as the play is going live, just to see how the players are cycling the puck there, trying to set up the play there. And I guess it's also neat, and it's probably something you only kind of see in the Olympics, where it's on the opening face-off of the first period there. You see the scoreboard, you see the matchup, and then you kind of see pan in going into the center ice there for the opening face-off there. I mean, you kind of don't see that with regular games there, because I mean, you got more fans in consideration here, but you got no fans there. I thought maybe the NHL might try some of their gimmicks, how they did it for the All-Star game, about highlighting a player and their speed and their angles and all that. I know the All-Star game tried that. I thought maybe they try that, but I just find that they found neat ways to kind of take away from the fact that they're still playing in an NHL arena with no fans here. I mean, the only people that are there are the the broadcasters or players of the team and arena staff there. But and then the other thing I also noticed here too is that it's definitely a lot of work has to go behind the scenes for those that work the arena here, especially with potentially 2-3 games per day, and knowing which team is officially the home team here. I mean, there's some fixed advertising they put on the ice there, and I'm sure I don't know if that's going to change as we get later in the playoffs here. You also have to think, how quickly can they change the ice? Because if you're still hosting 2-3 games a day here, I mean, they want to try the best ice as possible, especially if you get later on in the playoffs here. But you know how they have all the advertising on the boards, the advertising behind the benches, and the penalty boxes here. I mean, for example, for the Calgary games, which is the team obviously watched the most here, I definitely picked up on the advertising that you see behind the Calgary Flames bench, that you see at the Saddledome with the Napa Auto Parts there, and then behind the penalty box where you see the Napa Auto Parts and the brick. And I was like, gee, I see that at the Saddledome all the time when I go to a game, even for the Roughnecks game. But then you see certain advertisement on the boards for each team, their home team there. Some of it being, uniquely to there. I mean, for example, the Calgary home games, I was shaking happy, that's something local here. I mean, you got obviously all the national advertisers there, and you're probably going to see more of the national advertisements as you get later on. But I just definitely found that neat here. Or I know, for example, for the Carolina Hurricanes, I think it's called Bully Hill Vineyards. If I said it wrong there, but you definitely see that on the boards there. And then you kind of see the advertisement of the team, and for example, Calgary Sea of Red there. They picked even that up. Certain advertising behind the boards, behind the penalty box, the players. It almost tries to make it as homey as possible, while not being in their home arena here. And that's definitely fun, neat to pick up. The only other thing I can compare it to is like Grey Cups, where the Grey Cup here, it's all national. You have all your national advertising here. But when you have like the two participating teams in the Grey Cup here, yeah, you can still pick up that the game is played at a particular stadium there, and each stadium has their unique, appearances that he picked it up there. But he also, on the other hand, kind of forgets in that stadium while they're playing the game, and especially those extra cameras that they put in, because they still play, graphics and that of the teams participating and their celebration songs here. I just definitely find that neat here, and I just find that's how the best way to do it there. And I can also say the same thing about the NBA. It's definitely much, much different knowing that the NBA games are being played not in an NBA arena here, but at the ESPN Wild World Sports here, where it's definitely a much, much smaller court that they play there. But they kind of do the same idea, where they have the home team logo that's considered the home team, have a couple of the sponsors for the said team there, and then they have graphics kind of simulating showing fans there. I think on the NBA it says cheer with their app there. I mean, that's just different there, where you kind of see the fans behind their benches there, and then just the tones, the chants and that. It seems to be specific for that team there. They pump that in there, and then I guess going back to the NHL there, they do the same thing, because they record some of the sounds for the organ that you hear at the Saddledome here, and then they show George Canyon singing the national anthem and pump that in there. The only thing that could have been even more I think the same announcer that announces the Oiler games is the same announcer that's in the games in Edmonton there. It would definitely have been interesting if they would have had Beasley at the game, for example, the Calgary Flames PA announcer there. But I guess, you can only limit so many people in the bubble here, but that's just all my feelings and experiences, what I've seen so far with how the NHL is presented and with the NBA on just with these unique circumstances without fans here, but how they try to make it almost look like familiar settings in a way, especially if you follow a particular team. I picked that up from the advertisements, some of the advertisements on the boards, and the players' benches and the penalty box here, and of course the obvious one being the the goal horns, the goal songs that they play on both sides there, and it's definitely unique and interesting and neat all at the same time here, and just how they put in those extra camera angles that they probably otherwise wouldn't be able to put in as well with fans in attendance there, especially a fuller bowl and especially with the premium scene there. But it's just neat how they pan in with the face-off, and then I mentioned about seeing the power play in action, live in action, as everyone's cycling the puck, and how the defending team, the team on the penalty kill, is trying to prevent it and dump it down, and you just see different angles here. So what do you think of how the NHL is presented in East Coast City NBA and how they present the games for the viewer? Definitely. I guess last thing here is I know that at the game, I know I've seen graphics where they kind of make fun about it, that they said tonight's attendance 0, and then they also made fun of please watch yourself from getting off the couch after the game, or and then there was another one that I saw that the wave is discouraged, and of course I saw on TikTok there that players that were in the stands watching, I said, well, screw that, and they kind of just did the wave with the announcers there. So that's another way to how they kind of make it lighthearted there too, and just how they throw in the advertisement as when the camera's on there. So anyway, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly talk Calgary sports and sports on my channel here, but I also do have personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience with Tim on the road. Alright, I have a sporting event here, and who knows when will be time before I could do that again, but that's all I have on my channel here, so if it all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, what you need to do, just make sure you subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below there for other ways you can follow me and maybe get any announcements or news, what I plan to do on my channel here. So as I say here, go Flames go, and I'll see you in the next video here.